Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the Monday edition of Take 5. I hope you had a great weekend. I hope in your worship yesterday that you used it as an opportunity to make preparations for this week. I always believe that we ought to use our Sundays to prepare us for the week that's coming instead of using our Sundays to get over the week that we just had. So I hope you did that yesterday. This week on Take 5, we're going to be breaking down the message that I preached Sunday. That message was entitled Hope to the End. Now that sounds kind of negative at first, the end. My goodness, what in the world is he talking about? Well, the end, it's very important because the end of the season that we're in life is something that many of us long for and hope for and are searching for, because some of us aren't in the best seasons right now. We talked all about seasons last week, and we're just going to kind of carry that conversation right on in to this week, because there is an end to every season that you are in. It has a definite beginning and it has a definite ending. Whether the season is good or bad or somewhere in between, there is an end to that. And in the bad seasons, primarily, that's what I want to deal with. In those bad seasons of life, we have to hope to the end of that thing. A lot of times that's the only comfort there is in knowing what God has promised in the end and knowing that that end will absolutely come. I want to read a passage of Scripture to you from the book of Hebrews chapter 6 that actually refers to this. The writer says, "Beloved, we are confident of better things concerning you. Yes, things that accompany salvation, though we speak in this manner. For God is not unjust to forget your work and labor of love, which you have shown toward His name, in that you ministered unto the saints, and you do minister." Here it is now. "And we desire that each one of you," so every person, this is not something that the church corporately does, although when we do it individually, that's doing it corporately, but every person has this responsibility. Each one of you should show the same diligence to the full assurance of hope until the end. So if we're going to hope to the end of anything, we're going to have to do it with diligence, right? The next verse says that we should not become sluggish, but imitate those who through faith and patience inherit the promises. So when you use the word sluggish, you look that word out, plain and simple. It means lazy. And you know, that's how we are when it comes to dealing with tough circumstances. When it comes to enduring bad seasons, hard seasons, we're just lazy about it. It's not that we can do it. We can, because greater is He that's in us than he that's in the world, right? We can do it. We can overcome. We're just lazy when it comes to it, because we don't want to have to put in that kind of effort to endure a bad season. But the thing is now, after last week's Take 5, we should know that the bad season has something good to offer us if we will glean from it what we're supposed to. In order to do that, we've got to endure it. In order to endure it, we've got to hope to the end, because most bad seasons, there's nothing good to look forward to in the journey. The end is what we're wanting to get to. So he says, do this with diligence till the full assurance of hope until the end. Don't become sluggish, but imitate those who through faith and patience, it takes both of it, faith and patience, will inherit the promise. For when God made a promise to Abraham, because He could swear by no greater, He swore by Himself, saying, surely I will bless you, and surely I will multiply you. God says, you better bet your bottom dollar, I will absolutely bless you, and I will absolutely multiply you. And that's where everybody gets excited till we read the next verse. And the next verse said, and so after Abraham patiently endured, he obtained the promise. Only after he patiently endured. And the only way that he endured was by hoping to the end. The end, it's the goal, it's the point that you're aiming for. Notice the verse tells us hope to the end, not for the end. When you hope for the end, all you're wanting to do is for this thing to stop and be over. But when you hope to the end, that means you're hoping through this season that you are in, and you want to gain everything that you can gain while you're in it. Let's face it, if we got to go through a bad season, we want to get everything that we can get from it. Much too often we long for conclusion instead of what God is trying to accomplish in us. That end represents three things that we're going to talk about this week. The first thing, it's the fulfillment of a divine promise. The second thing, it's the harvest at the close of a particular season of life. And thirdly, it's the end of life where temporary ends and we graduate into eternity. That's the greatest end there is. Now, I know you're wondering, how do we make it? How do we hope to the end of a thing when we don't know how long that'll be? We think in terms of time all the time, but let's face it, even time won't help you when a season's real bad. Our focus has got to be on the end. That little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, that little bit of promise at the end of the tunnel, that's what we've got to hope to. The fulfillment of the promise, the harvest at the close of our season, or our graduation into eternity, whichever one it is. Hey, hang out with me this week, friend. We're going to talk about this enduring, and we're going to talk about just how powerful hoping to the end of a season actually is. Hey, look, I hope you have a great rest of your Monday. I look forward to being with you right here on the Tuesday edition of Take 5. Until then, hope to the end, friend, and have a great day.